Hey there, good afternoon and welcome to Prog Monster. My name is Murph and I am the host of this show. This is a show that is dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So here we are, final day of the year. Happy New Year to all of you. I'll be doing an episode on that shortly. Anyways, we're here for our monthly album hauls. What is this? It's basically stuff that I've collected over the month that relate to the channel. Mostly CDs, that's pretty much what I do. Although this month I have a few other things to add in. But so basically I just go through the stuff that I got and show you what's going on with my collection. So today we're going to start with this one. Yep, Rush, album by album, and this is, of course, sorry I got my finger in the way, by Martin Popoff. My daughter gave me a voucher for Indigo, and I went there looking for something and I saw this and I had to have it. So I've been reading it. I started last night. I read first couple of albums anyways. Really good, well written, of course. It's basically Martin interviewing various people close to the group and about the albums. Some real fascinating stuff and some real notable stuff about my favorite band, which is Rush. This is a nice shot of them here too. You know, that's early on. I'm going to say mid 70s, 76, 77 time period. And then there's a nice shot on the back of them much later in date, probably the 2015 concert. Maybe Rockin' in Rio, I don't know. Haven't got that far yet. Anyways, lots of really neat inside stuff you see. There's Alex with this kind of bowl haircut that he had back in the day. Yeah, just basically goes through album by album of all of their 19. That's a nice shot of Getty, I think. Yeah, so yeah, it's a pretty solid book. I was happy to have it by one of Canada's best music writers and, of course, a hometown boy, Martin Popoff. Well, anyways, I got that. Happy to have it. What else did I get? Oh, this. Where is it? There it is. I got this too. Sitting on it. That doesn't help. Some people may have seen me. I've wore this on a couple episodes recently. It's just a shirt. I don't normally buy shirts, but I saw this one. I thought, it'd be nice to have it. If you could get it to stay open. Yeah. So it's actually Point of Entry by Judas Priest to try to get it a little bit more over there. It is. So I have another shirt, but I'm not a shirt collector. Other people buy me shirts, but this is actually the first time I bought a shirt in a while. I'm more of a hat collector when it comes to clothing. Hats are my thing, and CDs, of course, and baseball, and there's a few other things, dice, that kind of stuff, weird shit. Anyways, I have that collector's fever sometimes. I'm not an overly big collector of stuff, but there are certain things I like to collect. Anyways, I've got a fairly substantial group of CDs here. Oh, the other big item was that I did purchase the computer that I wanted after some investigating over the last month or so. I got one that I wanted. It will be showing up here sometime this week or next week. And then we'll set it up, and hopefully that will mean a much better, better picture, and of course a much better regulated volume, which seems to be my biggest issue. But anyways, this one will be more useful to me as a facts and information sheet rather than the whiteboards that I like to use. So anyways, we'll start with the albums. So I'll do the hard rock ones first since they're on top. So this was one I got yesterday. On my last day out. Probably paid a little too much for it, but I really like the artwork on this album. See if I can get closer so you can see it. Yes, for those of you who don't know what this is Aerosmith's Draw the Line album. Some nice kind of caricature artwork there. I was always the big reason I liked this album was for that. I own this in the past. I've had it before. There's another one out. It's called Aerosmith's Greatest Hits. Very similar. I had that as well, but don't have either now because they were album and one was actually cassette. But this one I have, pretty solid. Nice album, comes from that period that I like. Don't like this as much as some of the other stuff, but it's still pretty good. I gotta find a place to put these where they don't fall over. That seems to be the biggest problem with these. Okay, next up, I got the one I've been looking for to help complete my collection. I'm not finished collecting yet, but I got this one, BTO2. Probably the worst of their early albums, but it even though it's the worst, it has probably their two biggest known tracks, which is Let It Ride and Taking Care of Business. They're the two biggest tracks and arguably the two biggest, most well-known BTO songs. But overall, it's an average album. Those songs withstanding. Then I got one that I've been looking for decades, and I just keep either putting it off, or it's too much, or they don't have it. Today they had it for the price I wanted to pay. Yes, Blue Oyster Cult's Cultosaurus erectus. Wow, I can't wait to get into this. But I've got 3 other Blue Oyster Cult's albums waiting their turn, and unfortunately the one that's up there in the number 2 spot, which is on my turntable right now, I just love it too much. I can't stop listening to it. Okay, next up, Deep Purple's Fireball. I'm not going to open these because they're still wrapped, brand new. That's a nice one, nice shot of them. I look forward to listening to this very soon as well. One of their better albums, no doubt. This one I got, and I've been looking for it for a long time. Got it for a good price. I actually got it used, and it's in great condition, as you'll see. The place I go, they are immaculate with their CDs. They're almost like brand new. Like, and then you never have to even look. I've never had an issue with any CD I've bought off of them. Such a good place. It's up in, I live in Cambridge. It's up in Kitchener. It's called Encore Videos and Records. Really, really solid stuff there. You always get lots of you get lots of the common stuff, but you get a lot of stuff that you don't normally see. A lot of really good rockin' stuff too. They don't get as many imports as I'd like, but you know, that's why I have the Laser's Edge, right? So I can get that stuff there too. So this is yeah, kind of a nice shot of the guys here. Mostly naked, but what are you gonna do? I've been looking for this album for a while. This is Toulouse Street by the Doobie Brothers. A couple of really big songs on here that I like a lot. Jesus, It's Just All Right. A couple other ones too. Taking It to the Street, I think, is on this. Maybe. Am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not on this one. It's Listen to the Music. That was the other one, the other big one. Good album. Another one for my collection. Big Generator. I had quite a few stuff that I had been looking for collection that I got at a reasonable price. So this one was about $7 or $8. Another one from that place, again, immaculate. It's like brand new, spanking new. They do not take anything but the very nicest of stuff for reusing, and they take good care of their stuff there too. Big Generator. I know I'm not plugging for the place, but I'm just saying, like, you know, to have a record store of that kind that takes really good care of their stuff, you know, within an hour of my house is nice. Next, this one, Heart, Little Queen. It was the one that I didn't have with the ones at the beginning. One of the ones I wanted for sure. Another one, really good condition. This one though I didn't get at Encore. There's another place fairly close by there. The guy runs a house and stuff. He had this for a reasonable price. It was 30% off too, so I got it for just about what I would have paid for it if I wanted it. This one goes out to Mr. King out there. Allied Forces, Triumph. Yes, I've been trying to collect Triumph stuff. The problem with getting Triumph stuff here is that nobody has any. It's not an album that you see in the used bin ever, hardly ever. This one was, so I took it. Got it about 2 weeks ago. Listened to it once, in good shape, solid solid. One of their better albums. I'd say top 4, top 5 for them, for sure. Has a couple of tracks on here that I love quite a bit, like Fight the Good Fight. It's among my favorite. And Ordinary Man. Is Ordinary Man on this one? I believe it is. God, I wish I should put my glasses on, but I'm not seeing it, so I could be wrong. I always thought it was on this one. I know it's not on Progressions of Power. That's the one with Nature Child. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is on there. Maybe they're both on there. Oh, helps if you put it right side up. Yeah, Ordinary Man is on here. Another really stupendous track by another kind of legendary rock band, if you ask me. I just, yeah. Allied Forces Triumph. And that one's for you, Mr. King. Next up, this is an album that I haven't listened to yet. I did listen to the other one that I got by him a couple months ago. Stephen Winwood. What is this one called? This one is, oh, sorry, of course I'm upside down. Roll With It. Doesn't look like a bad album. I remember looking at the tracks, but I don't remember what I read. Yeah, there's a couple things on here that I've heard before, but nothing really spectacular. But I like his voice. It's a little bit smooth. He's not somebody that, like, I don't want to pay a ton for this. I got this for a couple dollars, so I was happy. To me, that's a couple dollar album. So I have basically a couple dollar album, $5 album, and 5 to 10, and then things over 10, it's individual depending on the album, you know, what I want to pay for it. So this one I've been looking for because it was one of the original Cheap Trick albums. It's brand new. I don't even have it out of this. I did have this. I think I had this. Actually, maybe John had this. He might have had this in the original bunch of Cheap Trick albums that I had. Dream Police, Heaven Tonight, and this one, and I think it was the 5th one, which I can't remember the name of right now. But anyways, this is a solid album. A little bit more 50-ish, a little rawer than the other albums, but pretty good. Then we got a couple of these, and this one I got at I was standing at a bus stop waiting for the bus, and I was right in front of the pawn store, so I just went in and I was looking around for a minute while I was waiting because I had about 20 minutes before the bus showed up, and they had this. This one's a little bit damaged. It's not bad though. I'll have to replace the shell, but the album itself is in good shape. Yeah, in great shape. And this is Bruce Springsteen's Human Touch. I don't know much about this, but I do like listening to Bruce Springsteen on occasion. Once in a while, I just feel like something different. You know, it's not somebody I listen to a lot, but I do like that. And then, of course, I was at another place a few days later, and I got The River. Double album. One of his biggest albums. Everything's good. Yep, everything's rocking. There's no problem with either of the discs. Always got to check them discs, you know, you just can't take people's word. I never check the discs when I'm at the guy I go to at Encore. I never check them. Their discs are perfect. I've never had a single issue with any. Sometimes I get rid of albums that I have no use for, or some that I have doubles of. I sell them to them as well. And they're real good at that too. Okay, now we're going to get into the progressive stuff, because this is the stuff that interests me the most. Those were good. There's some good ones there, but I got this one. Now, I'm not a big fan of Emerson, Lake and Palmer, but this album has a couple of tracks on it that I like a lot. Lucky Man, of course, is one of them there. Probably no surprise there. And Tank. I like Tank quite a bit too. So those are 2 tracks. Yeah, I got this for a decent price. I think it was like $6, which for me is a decent price for such a good album. And it's, of course, immaculate as always with these guys. Okay, next up. This is an album that I bought brand new at the same place I always go to. Sometimes I get their used stuff. Yesterday, a lot of the used stuff was out. They didn't have a ton of really good choices, so I decided to go top shelf and get some new stuff. And of course, I paid too much money, as I always do when I do that. But yeah, this one was highly recommended, and I've been looking to get this one. This isn't the one that I want by these guys, but the one I want is Octopus. I still don't have that, and I haven't been able to find it anywhere at all, like not even find it. So, but this one was like about 10 or 12 bucks, and I thought, for that price I gotta have this, because I don't have this one. And this is one of their better albums too. It's nice packaging on it too, brand spanking new. I think most of the stuff that's left isn't brand new. This one I had to have, even though it's not a studio album per se, like it's not part of their studio discography, but it has a lot of singles and B-sides that you just won't find anywhere else. And of course, without a doubt, the reason I really wanted this was because it has Life is a Long Song, which is my favorite Jethro Tull's tune. Always has been for long. There's a lot of really good stuff on this album too. Locomotive Breath is on here. Sweet Dream, Living in the Past, like all the stuff that you can't find elsewhere. There's quite a bit of stuff on here like that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this. Still in its packaging. Got it for $10. That's a good deal. All those King Crimson albums I got last month, then I skipped a couple for God knows what reason. There was still one of them left, and I took it. Stainless and Bible Black. Yeah, I don't know anything about it, but it has the same kind of setup as the other ones. Nice black insert cover for the CD. That's a kind of nice thing, because then they don't get scratched at all, right? And then, of course, the booklet, if I can get it out. Yeah, a booklet too. They all these ones came the same way. They're a little bit too big for the rack, but that's why I got the wooden rack for all this stuff. That's one of them there. So, yeah, great album. Oh wow, we're doing a new series, and this album will be featured prominently in it, and I couldn't wait. I seen it, and it was a little bit more than I wanted to spend, but I had to have it, and it was this album, Misplaced Childhood by Marillion, one of their best albums, I believe. At least it was one of my favorite in the time period when I had it originally in album form, and I still like it a lot. It's still in the packaging, still not out, but it will be out shortly, because it's going to be involved in the series I'm coming to do, and you'll know more about that when I put this week out this week. Okay, this one is going to be for Ben's album challenge. I was doing Ben's album challenge. I happened to be there yesterday, $10, and I got this one. This is a great album. The funny about this album too is that I'd heard it, bits and pieces of it, most of my childhood and that on the radio, but I never really remember seeing it in the store, so it never would cross my mind when I'd be there. And then later, other stuff came up, and then I just forgot about it until Ben asked me to do it as an album challenge for this week. And then I just happened to be there, and I was looking through the deck, and I saw this, $10. I said, well, I gotta have that. I listened. Oops, sorry, it's moving around because I opened it up. Well, actually, it was open. It was because it's a used copy, but I listened to it all yesterday, and I'm ready for the challenge tomorrow for it. So I'll probably listen to it again tonight. And, oh, sorry, did I even say what it was? No, I don't think I did. This is Alan Parsons' project, and I think this is called Eye for an Eye. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Eye in the Sky. That's what it was. Okay, so then we got three albums left. So I got one today that I've never really liked this album, and in fact, it probably kept me from listening to this band forever. But I'm hoping that now that I've been listening to a lot of their other stuff, that maybe this will sit better with me. So I got the Wall. I got it for $6 for the double album, and it's in good condition, I believe. I didn't get it at the place I normally go to. I got this at the guy's house. It looks like it's in good condition. I probably should have checked these before I walked out, because I don't know him from Adam, right? But you know, give him a couple of cheap ones first, and if they're fine, then maybe you give him a little bit more number. I took this actually apart and was looking at the booklet too. Comes with this booklet, really nice. It's all handwritten stuff. Well, if you've owned the album, you know all that anyways. Part of the reason I don't think I like this is because I was never a huge fan of Roger Waters, and I think he's all over this. Okay, so then we have 2 left. And another Pink Floyd here, Obscured by Clouds. I always thought this was kind of a fascinating album. I don't know really much about it. It's the one album in their discography that I've not had anything to do with. I don't recognize the name of any of these songs. I'm sure once I play it, I'll know some of them. Correct me if I'm wrong, because it doesn't give you date. Oh, originally released in '72. So this did come out after Adam Mother. Came out after Adam Mother, and I think there was one other album that was out between the two, but I don't know if I even have that one. So this one is just before the Wall, Dark Side of the Moon. I'm not sure. Anyways, I'm looking forward to listening to this. This will be on my chart, on my turntable as early as tomorrow. And the final album. And this was one I had all my stuff at the front, and I was already at my limit. I was around 130. I didn't really want to go over 130, and I thought, just get one more. Make it even 150, right? I got this one, Porcupine Tree. What's the name of this album? On the Sunday of Life. So I like the other Porcupine Tree album I have. It's not in my playlist yet, but it's on the short list to go on. And I liked it quite a bit. So based on what people told me, I think this one will be another one of those really good ones as well. So I think that's it. I believe that's it. Now I do have 7 albums that are coming in from Laser's Edge. I had a technical issue there. Yeah, I was the technical issue. That's what the issue was. I screwed something up, and we were trying to figure it out, and he figured it out, and then once he figured it out, I took care of it right away, and it went good. And I got 7 CDs from him. They'll go on next month's haul. But I'm really looking forward to some of this stuff I'm going to be getting. So yeah, looking forward to this too. There's nothing better than, like a kid, who just went to the comic store and got all of the issues for the month. That's what I feel like today. I used to feel like I couldn't wait to go into the comic store on that first Saturday once the issues were in. And back in those days, they'd have each alphabetically. I don't know if they still do that, because I stopped collecting comics in the 80s. But back in those days, they used to have all the comics lined up alphabetically for the current issues, and it was even before the days when you could just phone in and the guy would keep an issue of everything that he knew you liked in a box for you. They didn't even do that back then. You just went through and picked it. My friend Jennifer was she was like that. She went to a place on I want to say it was on the Queensway in the West End of Toronto, and when she would come to visit me, then we would go by and she would get her comics for the week. And she didn't even have to look. She'd just walk in and he had this stack for her. Yeah, those were the days, eh? Anyways, I digress again, as always. So anyways, this is the final haul of the month, of the year. And it was a pretty big one, I think. Lots of interesting stuff. I look forward to delving into a lot of this stuff over the next year or so. So I hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, please like and subscribe. And we'll be back tomorrow with This Week. and Ben's album challenge. And I may do another video later today. I've been trying to find the album. I'm going to do a special. It's just a special issue. It's pretty much dedicated to my daughter on the last day of the year, and it's an album that me and her enjoyed quite a bit as when she was a younger child, and I just wanted to do an ode to her. So it's not really an album you're going to find very often on this channel, but certainly one that I like quite a bit, and I know she does too. So anyways, you have yourself a good evening, and we will see you very soon. Good night.